Hi guys, it's Brent from Motion. Today we're going to be installing our front bumper on the 2020 Pro XP RZR from Polaris. So let's get started. First off, we've got our new front bumper here. We have the top tubular bumper, the lower sheet metal bumper, and the winch mount slash bumper mount. For the tools, we're going to need a 15 millimeter socket, a 10, a 5/8, and a 9/16. And then we're going to use a 15/16 hex, a 7/32 hex, and a T40 Torx. We're going to need a 5/8 end wrench, a small screwdriver, flathead, and a ratchet and a 6-inch extension. And then this is our hardware kit. It's going to come with 4 stainless button head bolts and 6 flange head bolts, the 2 fair lead bolts, and 2 5/8 mounting bolts. We're going to be installing the winch block off plate since we're not going to be installing a winch today, but if you want to use a winch, it comes with our fair lead. First, we're going to start by removing the front bumper and plastic off of this machine. We're going to use the T40 Torx and a ratchet. First thing to do, take off the 4 mounting screws that hold the plastic on. This side. And this front plastic will just pull right off. Throw that to the side. Don't need that anymore. Save the bolts though. This might be handy. Next, we're going to pull out the grill, push down on these 2 tabs, and pop the grill out. Next, we're going to need a 15 millimeter socket and that small flat screwdriver. First, we're going to pull these 2 body clips. So you're going to get in here and try to pop this pin out without breaking it. And you got to kind of wiggle both sides back and forth. Just keep working it out. And pop the inside piece out, and then from underneath, pinch and push the clip, the rest of it back out. And you can line up, put it back together, and save that because we're going to be using it again. Do the same thing for the other side. All right, save those. Next, we're going to need our 15 millimeter on a ratchet. We're going to take out these 2 bottom bolts, and there's 2 bolts up here, and take this push bar off. So first we take out the bottom bolts. You're going to want to save 2 of those bolts for our bumper. And there's a bumper. And just throw that away. All right, so next we're going to need our 10 millimeter. And we're going to take off these 2 brackets. We don't need those anymore. All right, now we're ready to bolt on our bumper. We need our winch mount first, and the supplied 5/8 bolts. We're going to reuse these 2 metric bolts that we had on the machine. This plate just pops right up here into place. Start your bottom 2 bolts. That'll hold it in place. Then we're going to put a washer on the back side and a washer on the nut side, and feed bolt from the back to the front. washer on, nut. Same on the other side. These are grade 8 bolts, so they will not break. They're very strong. All right, now that we got everything started, we'll tighten this up with our 15 millimeter. Snug. We'll switch to our 5/8, the 5/8 end wrench. Put the end wrench on the back side. Get those good and tight. All right, now you can take your little plastic plugs that we pried out before and use the bottom part. There's holes in this plate that help hold this in. Drop that plug in. Then we push our plastic plug back down inside. That's nice and secured back on, just like it was made to do. And that's that part. Next, we'll mock up our front sheet metal bumper. Now's the time if you wanted to put your winch on, you bolt your winch in from the bottom, and before you tighten these, you run your bolts down through the top and secure it to the winch plate. So next we have our sheet metal bumper. We're gonna need 2 of the flange bolts and the 4 stainless steel button heads. You want to slide this on. You want to make sure that this flange down here is below the winch mount. It goes on. So you want to make sure this flange is below the flange on the winch mount. And then we'll just start our stainless bolts here. You want to be careful with stainless bolts that you don't, especially don't cross thread them, because they will gall. And it'll be a very bad day when the bolt is stuck in here. Don't ask me how I know. And we have the flange bolt, goes in from the bottom. Kind of wiggle this back and forth. That one started. Get on the other side. Just gonna leave everything loose. The next step. We're gonna put on the tubular bumper. And for that, we're gonna need the remaining 4 flange bolts and just our bumper. So our bumper feeds right through the grill, drops into place. Start our bolt into the sheet metal bumper on each side. Next, we're going to bolt into the back side of this bumper, and the back of this tube is a threaded insert. So you look on the frame, there's a hole right behind this frame rail. We TIG weld all the inserts in, machine them all on our lathes here in house. We'll start this other side, feed the bolt through, get it started. Make sure that you start these and push them in with your fingers so you don't cross thread these. So the last part we need to put on loosely is the fair lead. And we're using the fair lead block off plate. So we'll use the 2 socket head bolts with our fair lead block off plate. And put that right in on the threaded holes. Get those started. All right, now it's time to just tighten everything up. So the first thing we're going to tighten up are these 4 stainless bolts. And we're going to be using the 7/32 hex key. Let's just kind of snug them up at first. And don't get too carried away and round out the bolts. Then we can switch to 5/16. Tighten up the fair lead. And last, flip to our 9/16. We'll tighten these two bottom bolts. Ditch extension. Okay. We do our back bolts here. And the last thing is to put your grill back in place. So fish that down inside of here. Make sure the bottom's in. And that's not going anywhere. So some of the features that are on the front of this bumper, you can see right away, we have D-rings up here. You can hook somebody else's winch to that and pull yourself out of the mud, or use it to chain down to the trailer if you're transporting it. The bumper covers and protects the grill and the radiator. This sheet metal acts as a skid plate and protects your winch. If you need to switch your winch for freewheeling to be able to pull the cable or rope out, you can easily reach behind here and turn the lever to do that. Like I said, this one doesn't have a winch, so we have our block off plate in place. That's the new bumper for the 2020 XP Pro. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, leave suggestions down below for any other projects that you would like to see with this platform. We make sure we read those all the time, and we'll take your consideration for one of our next products. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.